we're supposed to get some, it was looking pretty good.
All right, Les, I show 5 o'clock. Are we ready on your end?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. Good evening. I hereby call this regular meeting of the Nacogdoches ISD Board of Trustees by video conference to order. A quorum of board members is present. Everyone's here tonight. And thank you for making time to be here with us. On March the 16th, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request by Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend a limited number of open meetings laws to the extent necessary to allow telephone or video conference meetings in response to the coronavirus. In accordance with those suspended rules, we certify the following. Notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Although members of the board are gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance. The public is joining us by video conference. We are meeting using the Zoom software application, which allows two-way communication for members of the public. As we would at any in-person meeting, members of the public who followed the instructions on the meeting notice for registering to speak during public comment will be given that opportunity. If you would like to provide comment at a future meeting conducted by video conference, please follow the instructions on the meeting notice. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent practical. An audio recording of the meeting is being made and will be made available to the public at a later date. If you have any questions about these suspended laws, please call the Office of the Attorney General at 888-672-6787 or by email at toma@oag.texas.gov. The board will now conduct an executive closed session to discuss the items posted on our agenda pursuant to the following provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Act and as allowed by Texas Government Code sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.129. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take will take place after the board reconvenes in open session. It is now 5:02 p.m.
And I found them in the freezer.
Today has been that kind of chocolate.
Chocolate cake.
I haven't had chocolate in.
Well, that's right. You've been really being good.
Yeah.
I had chocolate as often as I can get it.
Oh. Yeah. What I haven't had that I really
But I
miss.
like dark chocolate. I don't know if you like dark
I do.
chocolate.
That's what I
Dark
got.
chocolate.
What I really missed is the bread.
Yeah, that, you know, that to me, when I was having to lose weight, the bread was
Mhm.
really hard not to.
I miss that the most.
I still feel good tonight, but I still eat it. I was gonna make some sourdough bread, and then my starter fell. And I was reading up, and I was reading that, and it's something to do about doing that.
Ms. Fitch,
Yes, sir.
we are good to go.
Thank you, Mr. Lundberger. All right, the board is now reconvening into open session at 6:13 p.m. And Mr. Montoya, may I ask you tonight to give the invocation?
Sure, thank you,
Thank you.
Madam. Dear God, thank you for having us together this evening. We've been fortunate to be able to get face-to-face with precautions, and as you can see, we are here to do the work that we need to do as a school board. Give us the strength and the wisdom to make the decisions that are necessary to protect our staff, our teachers, our kids, and our families. And hopefully, one of these days, we can take these masks off and see each other and smile at each other. Thank you so much, Lord, for being here with us this night. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Okay, that will bring us to our public comments. Those wishing to address the board during public comment, email the request to the district administration before 4 o'clock today. This is a revised procedure, and it was made part of the meeting notice. If you wish to address the board at a future video conference meeting, please follow the instructions on the meeting notice. We have one request to speak today. There is a 3-minute time limit, and Mr. Michael Martin will keep time for us today. And our speaker is Ashley Chandler. Mrs. Chandler, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you. President Bitch, trustees, and Dr. Trujillo. My name is Ashley Chandler, and I am speaking to you tonight on behalf of members of Texas AFT. We have used the benefit of public comment to speak with you all for many months now regarding the safest school reopenings we can provide for our community. We appreciate that you have listened and acted on many things. We also appreciate the changes the district has made to student face covering protocols. However, we respectfully ask that when you publicly speak or post district information for the community, the correct terminology is used. Face shields are not face masks. They are face coverings. And we understand you all face public criticism, and the political issues surrounding the pandemic make things even more difficult. However, we believe that we need honesty and transparency and using the correct terminology when our community members matter. We believe if we can stop even one person from spreading COVID on our campus, it is worth the effort. We also believe that what happens within the walls of our schools impacts the entire community. Timpson ISD superintendent recently pointed out on social media that the spread of COVID in schools can impact the spread in the community. We agree and we appreciate their transparency and want a climate and culture here like that. Our teachers should not have to answer parents' questions on social media just to look foolish or be reprimanded because protocols were changed, but parents and staff were not notified. We realize many things are changing quickly, but even some of our own questions still go unanswered. For instance, who can employees contact when their campus administration is not available or are the ones committing safety violations? We also ask that you reevaluate the comments made by administrators during recent board meetings and determine if what was said is what's being implemented. Almost all of our teachers are teaching virtually and face-to-face, and I'm here to tell you it's a lot. Last but not least, when the combination of A and B days takes place, most of us will have too many students in our classrooms to safely social distance. We can help you all determine solutions, but we are still not being included in the conversation. Even amid a crisis year, our district still fails to implement the district's advisory council the way policy states. Yet faculty and staff are threatened or reprimanded daily for not following policies. Please fix this. These are critical times. We still believe that even amidst this pandemic, NAC ISD can rise above all the hardships and once again be a place where educators and students want to stay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Chandler. We will now move to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be acted on with one motion. If there's a board member who wishes to discuss an item on the consent agenda separately, please indicate the agenda letter and it will be set aside for further discussion and a separate vote.
Madam President, I'd like to withdraw the DE. We'll start on page 483, which is District Improvement Plan, Performance Objectives.
All right, we will pull item 5E from consent agenda. Does anybody else have anything to pull from consent? All right, hearing none, I'll open the floor for a motion.
Madam President, this is Mindy. I'll move that we approve the consent agenda with the exception of item E that was moved to discussion.
Thank you, Mrs. Winslow. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Reverend Irvin. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So that will take us now to item 5E, District Improvement Plan and Campus Improvement Plan. Mr. Neermont.
Purpose of my inquiring this information is for knowledge of myself, at the same time clear my mind. On a page 4 of 7, which is performance objective 1, it says increase star meets grade level percent from 37% to 48%, and master grade level percent from 15% to 26%, all grades, all subject tested. My question is this so-called performance objective 1 established before pandemic or after pandemic or actually during the pandemic?
So Coach, I'll take the, that. This is actually a goal that we rolled over from last year's district improvement plan for the 1920 school year. Since we were not assessed due to COVID and school closure for STAR, we felt it was important for us to maintain that same goal for this particular school year.
Okay, on also page 5 of 7, performance objective 2, increase the STAR academic growth raw score from 65% from 2018 to 2019 to 76% 2020-2021. Do we have any knowledge of what our score has been 2019 to 2020?
No, sir, because we were not assessed last year due to the school closure. So no, sir, we do not have STAR results for last year.
So would you consider that as realistic for those expectations and the circumstances that we are in?
We think so, yes, sir. That's why we decided to go ahead and leave it in here. We do know that we were, out of school for approximately 9 weeks last spring, but we put measures in place to appropriately progress monitor our students. In fact, some progress monitors have already begun this school year to individually assess our students to see where they are, and then purposely design specific interventions that will be designed by the student, by the standard, by the learning target.
Okay, these performance objectives and goals has to be related to or sent to TEA or just for our kids?
So typically a district improvement plan is only submitted to the state, and there's typically 3 of those that are sent, and it's due to us as a district receiving more than or greater than $500,000 in state compensatory education funds. And so that we always send the district improvement plan, and then a Title I campus with the highest economically disadvantaged students and a non-Title I campus with the highest economically disadvantaged students. So those are the only 3 that are sent to TEA, but we are required to post them on our required postings website off of the district landing page.
If we do not meet any of those, God forbid, does TEA could implement any plan on us, or wants reason why not?
No, sir. No, sir. These are retained locally. I mean, we do formatively measure them basically every 3 or 4 months. We do have a calendar where we sit down with our district advisory council, and we do progress monitor, look at the strategies. But no, sir, there will be no reprimands. Like I say, the only reason it's submitted to TEA is because they're looking at our state compensatory education and how we're spending those funds.
Okay, on the same topic, the same headline, on a page, I believe it's 6 of 7, it says achieve 100% certified and effective teaching staff. Currently, at what are we, at what stage? 80%, 60%, 100%?
And I'll take that one, Dr. Hill.
Thank you, sir.
Coach Neermont, this is Michael Martin. Currently, out of 468 teachers, we have 90.6% certified teachers, 9.4% non-certified teachers. So that is about 44 out of 468 teachers that are not certified with some type of SBEC certification.
And of those 44s, is that they're assumed going through the certification process, or?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct. They are going through, there's a number of reasons that these teachers are not fully certified. Some of them are having issues paying SBEC or State Board of Educator certification for it to be placed on the website. Some of them are waiting on approval from the certification program or university. Some of them have tests pending, such as their PPR. Some of them are waiting on, don't have all of their modules completed for their alternative certification coursework. And then others just have some pending monetary obligations with the alt-cert programs. This is just a few things that come up with getting the certification 100% with our teachers.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay, I will open the floor for a motion.
Madam President, I move that we approve the district improvement plan and campus improvement plan.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Montoya. Do we have a second?
I see.
Thank you, Mr. Nirwan. Any additional discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That takes us to our discussion action agenda, item 6A, consideration of purchase of 3 school buses from Thomas Gulf Coast Bus Sales. Mr. Martin, I believe you had some follow-up information for us.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, President Fitch, Board Trustees, Dr. Trujillo. Following up from Monday's meeting, you all had a few questions about the buses and the bus purchase that administration is proposing for your approval. One of the questions was, I believe, from Dr. Groman. It was how much of a discount do we get from purchasing through Buy Board? Buy Board is a statewide purchasing co-op. They go out and do the bidding for us so that we don't have to go through the procurement process. We get a 35% discount from Buy Board. So if we're looking at the 78 passenger bus, that 35% discount amounts to $60,007. Looking at the travel bus, that discount ends up being 35% at $96,810 discount. And looking at the 14 passenger bus, the discount for that ends up being at $37,694. Total discount amount for the purchase is $194,511. Also, I believe we had a question about what would the miniature bus look like? What color would it be? What would it look like? It would be an exact replica of the other Dragon Expresses. So it's going to have the wrap on it. It's going to look like the Dragon Express, but it will only have a capacity of 14 passengers. Be happy to entertain any other questions you all may have.
I think that's a pretty good deal.
Very good deal.
Thank you for that information. That's important not only for us, but for our community to know these things.
I also,
Yes, sir.
for district to go ahead and buy those 14 passenger buses, because sometimes golf, tennis varsity, tennis JV, or those who are qualified for state, a small number of people who can use it. That's a great idea. Thank you.
We'll open the floor for a motion.
I move to go ahead and approve the purchase of the buses.
Thank you. We've got a motion by Mr. Nirman. Do we have a second?
Dr. Drummond, I second.
Thank you, Dr. Groman. Any additional discussion? All right, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That takes us to item 6B, purchases over $25,000. B1 is Home Depot Pro. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, President Fitch. Again, going back to Monday's meeting, administration is recommending purchasing of polymer shapes folding desk shields from Home Depot Pro. 5,030 of these shields for the amount of $165,738.50. The board had just a few questions. I believe it was Dr. Groman who had some questions about sanitizing and cleaning of the shields. What were the protocols we were going to be using? One of those protocols, after visiting with Maury Tarvin, Ralph LaRue, and some of our other folks, our custodial folks, the custodial staff is going to spray a mist on these shields in the evening. The night shift will do so. We will also, our classrooms have in them spray bottles during the day for teachers to sanitize those areas of classrooms, including desktops, that they feel or have been contaminated or unsafe for any reason. This mist is just a mist that you spray. There is no wiping. You just spray the mist, give it a few minutes, let it dry, and you're ready to move on. So we've looked into those two options as part of our protocol. Dr. Trujillo talked about we leave these shields out in the open so that it makes it easy for our custodial staff to spray in the evenings. Again, I'll be happy to answer any other questions the board may have.
So just to, I'm going to summarize to make sure I understood correctly, Mr. Martin. You said teachers have a spray sanitizer in their room that they can spray as needed between classes. That does not require any additional. They can just spray it, kind of like spraying Lysol. Does not require any additional action by them. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct. In fact, in talking with the vendor, the only thing that they told us to do is really avoid using ammonia, as over a long period of time it would haze the plexiglass. But yes, you have summarized it very well. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Dr. Groman, did you have any additional thoughts?
No, I think this is great. I think we have a better understanding of what's going on, and that we understand that the janitorial staff is in charge of the major cleaning, and the teachers can augment that as they feel judgment deems that necessary. And the fact that we're going to connect those devices to the desk means that we can still take them off with the tape and move them if we need to, but that they will not be hitting the floor, and that's very good. So this appears to be a very good plan, and I'd like to move if we're ready to recommend that we purchase these polymer shaped folding desk shields.
So we have a motion by Dr. Groman. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Montoya. Any additional discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, we did not finish our executive session, so we are now going to return to executive session. Let me get over there. The board will now conduct an executive closed session to discuss items posted on our agenda pursuant with the following provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Act and is allowed by Texas Code Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.129. No voting will take place in the closed meeting, and there will be no action to be taken after we come out of closed session tonight. And it is now 6:32 p.m.
Ms. Fitch,
Yes, sir.
do you want to give everyone a time that you won't return before, like we've done in the past?
You want to do less than 30 minutes?
Well,
We can come out late, but we can't come out before.
what do you guys think? Because
30 minutes, and you go for 15 minutes beyond it if you ask, we can.
30 minutes? All right. We will not reconvene before 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I can't hear you guys.
There it is. Can you hear us?
There we go. Good job.
It's a village.
Oh,
Give me just a moment.
all right.
Dr. Trujillo, your text did come in, but for some reason it didn't make a noise or vibrate. So
Oh.
trust me, I was sitting here waiting. Okay, Ms. Fitch, I believe we are good to restart.
All right, thank you, Mr. Linebarger. The board is now reconvening into open session at 7:15 p.m. We have one final agenda item, and I will entertain a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Thank you, Mrs. Winslow. Do we have a second?
I say.
Thank you, Mr. Neermont. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Guys, got to move. You have to second. When I move, you second. That's how we get out.